In Los Angeles, two young university students, one studying philosophy, the other economics, are honored at a major prize award ceremony. The night should have been a celebration, but after the party, their walk back to the residency turns into something darker than either of them can explain. Soon the university is gripped by fear as drained bodies are found, and the woman begins to notice terrifying changes in herself. As the campus hunts for answers, she realizes the danger might be closer than anyone thinks. Chapter 1. The Night of Applause. I remember the way Los Angeles looked that evening. Cleaner than usual, as if the city had put on makeup for the awards. The auditorium near campus was bright with stage lights and camera flashes, and for a moment the world felt fair. She was 22, a philosophy student with the kind of calm focus that made people lower their voices around her. I'll call her Maya. She didn't chase attention, but it always found her. That night it found her on stage, accepting a prize for an essay about choice and responsibility that he was 23, an economics student. I'll call him Daniel. He carried himself like someone who could explain the world in charts and numbers, like nothing could surprise him. He won, too, an award for research that impressed donors and professors alike. They stood near each other on the stage for photos, trophies in hand, smiling because that's what you do when the room claps for you. But when the applause faded, I noticed something odd. Daniel didn't look proud. He looked hungry at the party afterward. The university tried hard to feel glamorous. Soft music, a buffet table, faculty pretending they weren't exhausted. Maya and Daniel talked near the edge of the crowd, polite at first, then more relaxed. They were both winners tonight, both headed back to the same residency, and it felt natural to walk together. Near the drinks, a campus security officer kept scanning the room. His name was Torres. I saw his eyes pause on Daniel a second too long, like he sensed a problem he couldn't name. Maya laughed once, quiet and real. Daniel smiled back, but it didn't reach his eyes. And when the party ended, the city outside looked darker than it had any right to be. Chapter 2. The Walk Back. They left the auditorium and started toward the residency. The sidewalks were mostly empty, the way they get in Los Angeles when the night turns late and people choose cars over walking. Maya hugged her cardigan tighter. She joked about how awards felt strange, like being praised for thinking too much. Daniel answered at first, but his voice kept slipping into silence. Halfway there, under a streetlight that buzzed like a dying insect, he stopped walking. Maya turned. "You okay?" Daniel's hands shook. He tilted his head, as if listening to something far away. Then he pressed his palm to his mouth, like he was trying to hold something in. I wasn't there beside them. But Maya told it later in broken pieces, and Torres filled in what he found. Together, it made one clear picture. Daniel looked up. His eyes had changed, sharp and cold, reflecting the streetlight like an animal's. His lips pulled back, and his teeth were wrong. Too long. Too clean. Maya stepped back, confused before she was afraid. "Daniel?" He moved fast. 1 second he was standing under the light, and the next he had her pinned, his grip crushingly strong. She tried to scream, but his hand covered her mouth. His face lowered to her neck with a terrible certainty. There are sounds that don't belong in a human throat. A low, wet pull. A gasp that turns into a choking sob that he bit her. When he finally let go, Maya fell to the sidewalk, her fingers slipping over warm blood on her skin. Daniel stood over her for a second, breathing hard like someone waking from a dream. Then he backed away, his body folding into the shadows between buildings, as if the darkness welcomed him home. Maya crawled toward the light, shaking, trying to understand how a smart, normal student could become a monster in the space of one street lamp. But the bite wasn't just an injury, it was an invitation. Chapter 3. The First Body. By morning, the campus had that tight, nervous energy that spreads faster than any rumor that a body was found on the grass near a classroom building. The police arrived. So did Torres, moving like he hadn't slept. Students gathered at a distance, phones raised, faces pale. The victim had 2 marks on the neck. The skin around them looked bruised, almost burned. And there was something worse. There wasn't much blood left. People said animal attack, because saying anything else would have made them sound crazy. But Torres didn't buy it. He'd been in security long enough to know what coyotes and dogs did to a body. This wasn't that. Maya stayed inside most of the day, claiming she felt sick. She did feel sick, but not in any normal way. Her senses were too sharp. The sound of her neighbor's shower was loud as machinery. The smell of food made her stomach turn, and the smell of people, That was the worst part. In the bathroom mirror, her face looked the same, but paler. Her eyes held light strangely, like they were learning a new language. She touched the bandage on her neck and felt heat under it, like the bite was still happening. She went to the library in the afternoon, not because books could fix a wound, but because philosophy students are trained to hunt meaning even when meaning is dangerous. She searched folklore, medical journals, myths that had been laughed off for centuries. She found enough patterns to scare her. At dusk, she met with a friend from one of her seminars, a student counselor named Elena. Elena listened, calm but worried, as Maya described the walk home, the teeth, the speed, the cold eyes. Elena didn't say vampire. Not out loud. But she asked Maya to stay somewhere safe and to talk to campus security. Maya agreed, though both of them knew it was too late for safe. That night, another body was found, and the next morning, another. The university didn't call it a haunting. They called it a crisis. They added patrols, put out warnings, told students to walk in groups. But the thing moving through campus wasn't a student with a weapon. It was a predator with patience. And Maya could feel it, like a second heartbeat in the air. Chapter 4. Philosophy of Hunger. Maya tried to fight to change the way she'd fight any problem. With thought. With rules. With reasons. She told herself she was still human. She told herself the body could be tricked, that cravings were only chemistry. She repeated arguments about free will like prayers. But the campus became a trail of drained carcasses, and each one pulled at something inside her. In class, bright projector light made her eyes water and sting. She started wearing sleeves even in warm rooms. She stopped eating. Coffee tasted like ash. Water did nothing. At tea night she lay awake, listening to the residency building breathe. Every cough down the hall, every footstep, every laugh from the courtyard below. All of it sounded close enough to touch. And beneath those sounds was another layer, a pulse everywhere. A constant rhythm inside every living body around her. She started timing her own heartbeat. It was slower. Sometimes so slow she panicked and pressed her fingers to her throat again and again, just to confirm she hadn't died. Torres came by once, asking questions about the night of the ceremony. He was careful, professional, but his eyes kept flicking to the bandage on her neck, that he didn't accuse her. But he didn't leave comfort behind, either. Later, Maya saw Daniel for the first time since the attack. It was near a service alley behind a campus building. The area was poorly lit, and the shadows looked thicker than they should have. She noticed him because her body reacted before her mind did. A chill. A pull. He sat on a low wall like gravity was optional, his posture relaxed, his gaze fixed on her with eerie calm. He looked cleaner than he had any right to look after weeks of murder rumors. His face could have been on a brochure. Maya froze. Daniel didn't move closer. He didn't need to. "You feel it, don't you?" he said softly. Maya tried to speak, but her throat tightened. "The campus thinks there's a killer," he continued. "They're right. They just don't understand what kind." Her hands shook. "Why?" Daniel's eyes narrowed like he was studying her the way he used to study numbers. "Because I'm not going back. And neither are you." He vanished into the dark so smoothly it made her question her memory of motion. Maya returned to her room and found the campus newspaper outside her door. Another drained body. Another warning. Another false reassurance. She stared at the headline, and she finally understood the most terrifying part. Daniel wasn't just killing, that he was teaching her what she was becoming. Chapter 5. The Last Refusal. Elena begged Maya to leave campus for a while, stay with family, go anywhere with sunlight and crowds. Torres urged caution too, though he couldn't say why without sounding insane. Maya promised both of them she would be careful. But careful didn't stop the hunger. On the third night after she saw Daniel, Maya followed a feeling she hated admitting she had. It led her past locked doors and down a maintenance stairwell that smelled like damp concrete and rust. The tunnel below campus was colder than the world above. Lights flickered. Water dripped steadily, like a clock counting down to something final. Maya walked with a small flashlight, her hand tight around it. She told herself she was going there to end it, to confront Daniel, to demand answers, to find some way to reverse what he'd done. But her body moved like it already knew the truth. Daniel stepped out of deep shadow like he'd been waiting, that he didn't rush her. He didn't snarl. He looked almost gentle, which somehow made it worse. "You can fight it," Maya said, forcing the words out. "I'm trying." Daniel's smile was small and tired. "I tried too." Maya's eyes burned. "So you decided to turn the campus into a slaughterhouse." "It's not a slaughterhouse," he said, voice low. It's survival. And it's freedom if you stop lying to yourself. Maya took a step back, then another. Her flashlight beam shook across the tunnel walls. Daniel held out his hand, palm open, inviting. You're already changing. You feel how thin your old rules are. You feel how easy it would be to stop hurting. Maya's thoughts raced, philosophy colliding with panic. Choice, responsibility, harm, identity. She tried to build a wall out of logic, but the hunger inside her pushed against it like a tide. Daniel leaned in, close enough that she could smell him, clean, cold, wrong. You can keep suffering and pretend you're still the person you were. Or you can finish what started under that streetlight. Maya's breath shook. She pictured Elena's worried eyes, Torres's suspicion, the drained bodies on the grass, the fear spreading through dorms and classrooms. Then she pictured something else, silence inside her chest. The end of the constant ache. Her grip on the flashlight loosened that IT fell and clattered on wet concrete, the beam rolling away and leaving her face half in darkness. Maya looked at Daniel. Her voice came out steady, almost calm. Okay, she said. No more pretending. Daniel's eyes gleamed with approval and hunger, and as the tunnel swallowed the last of the light, Maya felt her last refusal break. Chapter 6. New names, new campus. After that, Maya stopped thinking of herself as sick. She started thinking of herself as unfinished. Days passed strangely. She moved through campus like a ghost, avoiding mirrors, avoiding friends, answering Elena's messages less and less. Torres watched her from a distance, his suspicion sharpening into fear, but he never got close enough to prove anything. The killings continued. The university tightened security, then panicked, then tried to protect its reputation. Official emails talked about ongoing investigations. Parents demanded answers. Students whispered about a curse, about a demon, about a vampire. Maya stopped whispering the word in her head. She accepted it. The final night of change came quietly. No thunder, no magic. Just a deep, internal shift, like a door closing and locking behind her. When she stepped into the hallway of the residency, the darkness felt comfortable. The distant sound of a heartbeat didn't scare her anymore. It called to her. Later, under red neon on a Los Angeles street, she met Daniel without fear. They didn't talk about forgiveness. They didn't talk about the dead. Those were human topics, tied to human limits. They talked about leaving a different university, a different part of the city, then a different city entirely if needed. False identities built on stolen paperwork and careful stories. New majors, new faces in new crowds. They found a place where the night was always loud enough to hide what they were. A party full of strangers, pulsing music, and glasses filled with something darker than wine. Maya stood beside Daniel and felt the last thread to her old life snap. Philosophy had taught her to question everything. Now she questioned the only thing that mattered. Not whether monsters existed, but what kind of monster she wanted to be. And when she finally smiled, her teeth answered for her. If you enjoyed this scary Los Angeles vampire story, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload, and hit like if you want more university horror stories like this one. Comment what you think really happened after that award night, and share this video with someone who loves scary stories.